Hi, everybody. Just going to make sure everything is working. I don't know why it says Kathy there. I wonder if it's saying it on Facebook. No, I don't think so. I think it's working. All right. It's always a good thing when everything was working. It makes me really happy anyway, especially when it's all this technological stuff. I'll give it a few more minutes before we get started. We'll start promptly at 6 p.m. Also a good thing. Can you guys hear me okay? Oh, I think I might have muted myself. Oh no, I unmuted myself. Well, if anyone can figure out, okay, good, you can hear me. Good, thank you. I think I'm gonna switch to something called Kajabi in the next month or so. But I think it'll be a better tool for us, actually. And we won't have to use Facebook, and it's like everything in one. If you haven't noticed, you know, we've used Facebook, and then we've used something else that is the membership area that's holding all of our videos and everything. And then, hey there. Yay. I'm glad you can hear me. Yeah, so there's like 3 different places that's holding, you know, 3 different things. You got the Facebook group, and then the membership area where you have a lot of your video content and workbooks and everything. And then now you had to log into the Zoom thing. So it's a lot of different pieces to get to work together. And now there's something that's called Kajabi that is a one-stop shop. And so I think that it'll probably take me about a month to learn it. So I'm thinking that by the time we do our next masterclass, that I'll have that all in one house. I'll have all of our stuff in one place, which would be pretty cool. It'd be a lot easier for everybody involved. Well, enough of that fascinating, interesting stuff. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for our master class. And the topic for tonight is the lymphatics, and doing a 3-day. I mean, I think that, you know, at a minimum, you should do 3 days, which, you know, 3 days is a great place to start. and can be extremely powerful. I mean, even just doing a 1-day cleanse, depending on where you're at and what's going on, can be very powerful. But you could do this, the cleanse that we're going to learn tonight, you could do it for 3 days, you could do it for 1 day, you could do it up to 10 days even, and to longer. So there's a lot of flexibility there. And of course, you've got a lot of support. So if you take advantage of the Facebook group, and then also we have these live Q&A calls where you can actually call in and ask questions that are specific to you, then you can really get a lot out of your experience. And a lot of you know that this is a new project that I have initiated. So please, feedback, positive or negative, I embrace it all. And I want this to be accessible to you, most importantly. So if you have suggestions about making this more easy to navigate, or anything at all, I really appreciate it, because I want to improve it and I want it to be of good use to you. So the lymphatics is very interesting. We don't really talk about it so much in allopathic medicine or in modern science, really. There's really not very much discussion on the lymphatic system in the body. But in Ayurveda, the lymphatic system is really regarded as a very important tissue layer and has a lot of important function in the body. So the lymphatics is considered to be the first tissue layer in the body that is developed when we eat our food, basically. So whenever you eat, you extract the rasa, or the essence, from the foods that you're eating, and that gets distributed through your body through the lymphatic system, and that becomes the very first tissue layer of the body. Whenever we do detoxification and cleansing in Ayurveda, we always start with the lymphatics and flushing the lymphatic system. So your lymphatic system is a circulatory system, like your blood circulatory system moves through your body. It transports the lymphatic fluid through an entire circulatory system. But unlike the blood circulatory system, which has your heart to pump the blood through your body, your lymphatic system relies on skeletal movement and breathing. So if you live a sedentary lifestyle, or if even certain dietary choices, stress, can all contribute to stagnant lymphatics in the body. And sometimes the lymphatic system can kind of become stagnant for unknown reasons. I've worked with clients that were very physical and healthy and still had some lymphatic issue. And so how do we know that the lymphatics aren't working? Basically, if there's any physical health issue at all, we look at the lymphatics in the body, and we work to do some type of lymphatic cleanse or lymphatic flushing. But there are certainly specific imbalances in the body that are more definitive than others when it relates to lymphatic imbalance. So skin disorders, eczema, psoriasis, rosacea, itchy skin. So sometimes when people have stagnant lymphatic issues, they just feel like itchy and scratchy, or they may have like an itchy patch on their body. That's a sign that the lymphatic fluid is stagnant in that area. Fibroids, masses, and growths of all kinds are all related to the lymphatics in the body. And sluggishness, immune system issues, because the lymphatics in the body, it's your body's sewage system. So it's how toxins dump and get out of your body. But it also plays a huge part in your overall immune system function. It transports important immune system fighting cells throughout your body. So if it's not working properly, then not only are you not flushing toxins out of your body well, you're not transporting important nutrients and immune system fighting cells through your body well either. So that can lead to growths, fibroids, masses, stagnation, water retention, having a really strong sensitivity to salt. So different, water type imbalances in the body, electrolyte imbalances in the body. For women, swollen breasts around your period is a sign that your your lymphatic system is off all month long. So for women who do this type of cleansing and detoxification, a lot of times the PMS symptoms of just having very swollen, tender breasts can relieve itself. Swollen low abdomen, or just sort of pooling, swollen belly. So no matter how much you exercise or work out, if you have the sort of puffy abdominal area, that can indicate that you have lymphatic stagnation. You have the primary lymph glands run down the front of your body. So if it's not moving properly, it can pool, it can start to collect and pool. Even early jowling, sometimes like puffy under eyes or swelling, or puffy swellingness underneath your face here. So it can accelerate, aging, essentially. If you just think about it, there's, weight, extra weight, which most of us don't want, pulling down on our skin and making it hang. Puffy under eyes, mucus production, sinus issues are also symptoms and signs that the lymphatics are not working well. So regardless of if your lymph system isn't working well or not, everybody should do some type of lymph cleanse in the spring preventatively. So even if you're totally healthy and you don't have any of those things at all, which is great, you still want to do some lymphatic detoxification and cleansing. And in the Ayurvedic practices, it's amazing because all the practices are successive. So what I mean by that is one practice that you do during the spring prepares you for the practices that we do in the summer season. So the spring season, it's all about cleansing and detoxifying the lymphatic system, enhancing your metabolism, weight loss. This is a good time of the year for doing a weight loss program, for shedding that which no longer serves you anymore, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And I'm going to write myself a little bit of a note because I definitely want to touch on the mental, mind, emotions also that are ripe to be released at this time of the year. And ripe is the word. So in each season, a dosha is either being aggravated, or it's accumulating, or it's being pacified in the body. So the spring season is when kapha is aggravated. So you can see that in some people that have like sensitivity to allergies or itching or excess mucus production, swelling, all of your excess lymphatic issues are all going to be of a kapha type origin. And you can see it in the environment, right? Today in Chicago was a perfect kapha day. It was just a perfect kapha day. It was cold. It was rain. It wasn't cold, actually. It was a little bit warmer. Excuse me. But it was rainy, and it was like a perfect spring, muggy sort of kapha-like day. So you can see that kapha's aggravated in the season. And pitta dosha is accumulating right now. And vata dosha is being pacified. It's being relieved by the warmer temperature and the moisture. So in the winter and the fall, the beginning of the winter and the fall, it was vata that was aggravated. It was cold and it was dry. So the warmer temperatures that start to happen in the spring and the wetness feels good. It reduces vata. So depending on where we are in the season, the year, the dosha is either being aggravated, or it's being pacified, or it's accumulating. So if we do this right and we do some lymphatic cleansing during the spring season, then by the summertime, we'll have prepared our body well so that we can do some detoxification and cleansing practices for pitta dosha, which would be more targeting the blood and the liver, which is great for skin issues, for acne, for rosacea, for aggravation, for irritability, and many of your pitta type related issues and disorders. So this is actually the best time of the year to jump into something like this, to jump into these lifestyle practices. So good job for doing that, because it's actually really key for the fall season. And the fall season is when we are working with vata, really. And that's when you start building your digestive system and your immune system. And we mostly do that in Ayurveda using higher amounts of protein and higher amounts of fat. Those are building to the body. But if your lymphatics are stuck and it's stagnant and you start consuming a lot of protein, so if that's animal protein or plant-based proteins and fats, it can be very overwhelming to the lymphatic system. And that's when people will start to feel things like nausea or aversion to fat. It's very overwhelming basically to the kidneys. So if we do this right and we flush the lymphatics now, and then, you know, you're working and cleansing your blood and your liver during the summer season, by the fall, you'll be really ready for that sweet, dense, nutrient-rich, fatty, higher calorie, heavier diet and food groups. It won't cause you aggravation like it could if you have a toxic system already. So that's kind of interesting, I think. Do you guys have any questions so far? I'm going to sidestep and just ask if you have any questions. You can, if at any time you do, you can type them in. And I'd be happy to answer. Okay. If you do have a question, again, just type in the question and I'll be happy to answer it. And if it looks like, you know, your question requires some deeper exploration, I might make it so that you can talk and we can actually speak through this thing too, which is nice. Okay, so we're detoxifying our lymphatic system during the spring through two different ways. One is through lifestyle. So through your daily, everyday lifestyle practice. And if you look in your membership area, you've got 2 videos in there, 2 different workshops. You've got one that focuses specifically on diet during spring. And then you've got another one that's sort of diet and lifestyle practices during the spring season. So in general, some dietary practices that are good during the spring are avoiding dairy. So this isn't the best time of the year to have dairy or wheat, to be favoring your bitters, your greens, to be eating lots of berries and grapes. Grapes are also cleansing for the lymphatic system. To be eating a lower calorie amount at this time of the year. Doing things like intermittent fasting can be very helpful and healing to the body at this time of the year, more so than at other times of the year. So if we lived, you know, off the land and we were in cabins in the wood, then, you know, at this time of the year, we may be at this sort of, you know, crux in the year where it's like we're running out of stores, you know, or we have to stave things off. So nature supports caloric restriction, doing dietary restriction and different fasting methods. So there's not really a specific way that you need to fast during the spring. There are many different ways that you could fast during the spring. So intermittent fasting would be one of them, where you skip your evening meal or your breakfast meal and fast through the meal itself. Another one would just be to reduce the amount of calories that you are eating. So maybe you want to take it down to like 1,000 calories, depending on your body size, if counting calories is helpful for you also. So reducing the amount of calories that you're taking, intermittent fasting just one day a week, you know, so maybe that's having 500 calories like every single Monday, or even doing a water fast, if that's something that you feel comfortable doing, and it doesn't provoke fear or worry or something like that in you. But you want to engage in more regular fasting methods during the spring season, more so than, again, at any other time of the year. And we know that fasting has so many different health benefits to the body, extends life, reverses the effects of chronic stress, balances sugar metabolism, enhances overall body metabolism, balances weight, reduces the body's excesses. So there are so many different benefits, extends life on virtually every single animal that's been studied, even down to different bacterias, to different primates, to humans, just across the board. Doing caloric restriction extends the life of virtually every creature that is alive. I believe that fasting is probably one of the most powerful medicines that we have. When we fast, our body just goes in and starts to heal the damage that has been done through being exposed to chronic stress or eating a poor diet, etc. So this is the best time of the year that you want to do more fasting methods that are just a part of lifestyle practices. Increasing the amount of spices that you're eating. It doesn't have to be a lot. In Ayurveda, we love spiced waters. I'm drinking one right now. And so I've taken licorice root powder, ginger powder, cinnamon powder, and cardamom powder. And I put it in my cup and I top it with hot water and I'm sipping it. And so spices help to enhance your overall agni function. And that's what we're trying to do during spring too, is just to increase the amount of heat and increase the amount of agni in your body. So you can do that through spices, and it could be a complex one like this one where you've got 4 different spices, or it could be something really simple like just taking ginger root and just slicing it, which ginger root is actually a really powerful lymphatic cleanser also. So it really depends on how you want to do it, and diversifying the amount of spices that you're eating is a really good thing to do at this time of the year also. Movement, so cardiovascular activity, making sure you're getting daily walks in or going to the gym, riding your bike. This is the good time to do it. You're moving your lymphatic system, you're breathing deep, you're shedding, you're letting go, and you're enhancing the overall heat in your body. This is also the best time of the year to really take some time and examine what no longer is serving you emotionally anymore. You know, if there are emotional experiences that you can maybe come to peace with about, or if there are things that would better serve you to let go and release. And in the fall, we'll be learning about emotional release practices that are really, really powerful. But I will just say now, there's so many things you can do. One great, extremely powerful thing to do is write letters. You know, write somebody, if it's an actual person and you feel like you have words left unspoken to this person, and you tend to ruminate, or it just feels like it's in your body somehow, ritualize it, turn it into a ceremony, sit down with your intention, with your sankalpa and your intention, say, I am going to let this go, and write that person a letter. And it doesn't mean you have to send it, burn the letter and bury it and give it to the earth. So the spring is really supporting that emotional detoxification and cleansing also. Going through your home and getting rid of all the stuff that you don't use or don't need, giving it away, selling it, whatever you need to do. That's a kapha. That's a kapha reducing practice, is to get rid of the stuff, the memorabilia that doesn't really, do anything but take up space. Reading about minimalism and simple living can also help to inspire you to do those practices also. So you've got lifestyle practices and that are detoxifying and cleansing in nature and good to do in the spring. And then you have the deeper cleanses and detoxes that you want to do. And that's really the subject of tonight's talk, is to talk about how to flush and cleanse the lymphatic system. So I've been in practice for 15 years and guiding individuals and groups and all sorts of people through cleanses and detoxes. My primary Ayurvedic teacher was also a naturopathic doctor. So I've learned different ways, that's most of which are native to traditional Ayurveda, and some of which I've been exposed to through my practice of doing cleansing and detoxification and just seeing what really works. So we're going to talk a little bit about both of those things. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to go over the membership area that I added in tonight. All right. So you should be able to see that. So you'll be able to access this actually through your primary page. We're going to go through all of that right now. Okay. So this is your March, page where you guys, have probably been already. So here is where I just give like a brief overview of the March season. And here is your March lifestyle practices. And I did a deeper dive on spring Ayurvedic diet, which I thought would be helpful. This is what I added on tonight. So your 3-day lymph cleanse for March is here. When you click in here, this is going to be where you're going to be able to rewatch if you want to what we're recording right now, which is kind of an overview of everything. And then here's your workbook, which you'll be able to also download. These are all video tutorials that will help you to see the practices that I'm going to be teaching you tonight. Niacin Flush, the meditation and yoga practice to do with the Niacin Flush. We're going to talk about Epsom salt flush and other practices that would be helpful to you while you do the either 3-day detox. So I will start off by saying that whether you do 1 day or 3 days or even up to 10 days, I actually give you 2 different protocols. I give you a 3-day protocol and a 10-day protocol. It's all great. I mean, even if you just did 1 day, that's an amazing place to start. That can be hugely transformational. And you want to be careful if your system is really toxic. Actually, in the foundation section of your membership area, there's an assessment there that will help you to understand what your current toxic load is. If you haven't taken those quizzes yet, please do that. That will give you a lot of feedback and information. When I first started cleansing and detoxifying my body 15 years ago, I mean, it was very intense, and it's something that I see in my clients. And you can feel sick and nauseous and get headaches and get lightheaded, and it can impact your ability to go to work and maintain your certain lifestyle responsibilities. Those are all things that are known as healing reactions and healing cleanse crises. Another thing that can happen is reliving things from your past. And I've just seen it so many times that it is definitely not a coincidence. Emotional experiences can come up from the past. Actually, a woman by the name of Candace Pert, I love her work so much. She passed away. She was a neuroscientist who basically proved, what ancient systems have been saying for thousands of years, which is that we store all of our emotional experiences in our physical body. And her work showed that it specifically is stored in our fat cells. So we actually store emotional memory inside of our fat cells. So whenever you do a detox or a weight loss program and your fat cells actually shrink, we're releasing those emotions back into our bloodstream. And that can be very provoking. For some people, it can give memory. So you can actually have memories or actually re-experience anger, but that's also joy and happiness also. And it's both negative and positive emotions that are stored within the body. So you want to be gentle with yourself is what I'm saying. And you don't want to push yourself so hard. Be gentle. You've got time. You can do it again later. So maybe it's a day now, and maybe in a month or something, you can do 2 days. And maybe you want to start when it's on the weekend, when you can just really take some time for yourself and not be at work and things like that. So I just wanted to, remind you to go slow and give yourself permission to experience the change. Sometimes it's the incremental things. A lot of times it's the incremental change that really leads to lasting benefit. That is also something I've seen many, many times. Okay, so here's the sort of overview of your cleanse. And what I'd like to do now is actually go over the workbook itself. So here you'll be able to see this link where it says download workbook. And here we are. So this is what I'm saying is a 3-day detox for the lymphatic system. But again, you could do this for 3 days, you could do it for 1 day, or you could do it up to 10 days. And we're gonna go over everything together now. You can read all that stuff later. We've already talked about what the lymphatic system is. We've talked about the symptoms that you need to cleanse the lymphatic system. So we'll go over the cleansing practices now. So upon waking is a hot, cold shower. So what exposing yourself to heat and to cold does is it causes vasoconstriction and vasodilation, which is amazing. So basically all of your blood capillaries in your body constrict when you get cold. They get tighter and they get smaller. And when you get hot, when you expose your body to heat, then your blood capillaries dilate and expand. So if you intentionally contract them and expand them, you enhance detoxification and cleansing. And I mean, human beings have been doing this for thousands of years all over the planet. The word spa means healing waters, because it was an area where people would create a healing retreat or go to heal and bathe themselves in the water. And so there's different thermal springs and different cold waters that people plunge into in order to assist with healing. And so we often have a different perception of what a spa is like a place of pampering, not as much as a place of healing and as restoration. But people have been using water therapy for thousands of years. And so we're going to do that too. So you can do this in a couple ways. One is the hot, cold shower. And that's like literally every morning. So if you're doing this 1 day, 3 days, or 10 days, so every single morning, you're going to get into your shower and you turn the water all the way to hot and all the way to cold for 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, both ways, repeating 5 times to help with the overall vasodilation and vasoconstriction and assisting with cleansing and detoxification. It will really wake you up. So that's one method. There's a couple. So that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is to just start your shower all the way on cold, and to take a ice cold shower for about 10 minutes. And so you want to expose every single limb and area of your body, front, chest, back of your body, your arms, your neck, not so much the top of your head, but everywhere else from your neck down, for about 30 seconds to a minute. And then after that, you can take a warm shower as normal. So that's another way. That's actually kind of my favorite way. The third way is to take a cold plunge bath. So turn the faucet all the way on cold and fill up your entire bathtub with ice cold water. And if you wanted to, you could even throw in some ice cubes in there also. And then actually submerge yourself in the bathtub up to your neck for about 2 minutes. And then you can get out of the bath or just let it drain and just shower as usual. So this exposure to cold water in the morning is very cleansing. It's very rejuvenating and detoxifying for the body. It's a yogic practice. It has been used for thousands of years, cross-culturally all over the place, for healing, for enhancing immune system function, for enhancing metabolism, and for flushing the lymphatics in the body. So I'm inviting you to do it every single day of however long you decide to do these practices. 30 minutes of exercise. So every day you want to do some movement. And I don't mean like go to the gym and, get on the treadmill, although it could be that. It could totally be that. But do something physical, move your body around, hopefully it continues to, be warmer, but go outside, make sure you're going out for a walk, maybe take a dance class, maybe go out dancing with your partner and move your body and get some get some activity in your physical body. Breakfast smoothie for the lymphatic system. So as we're moving into the warmer months, one of the strongest lymphatic cleansers and detoxifiers is fruit. So fruits of all kinds, but especially berries and grapes, are the strongest detoxifiers because of their astringent nature. The skin, the astringency actually in the skin has many different polyphenols and antioxidants and detoxifying agents that are very good for the lymphatic system. So your berries, your grapes, and your greens are really the strongest cleansers. So doing a breakfast morning smoothie. Now, you don't want to take it cold. So don't drink like a super cold, ice cold smoothie. It needs to be room temperature. It's okay to buy frozen fruit, but maybe add some warm water or blend it long enough so that you're not drinking an ice cold smoothie. Room temperature is better. The ice cold smoothie will depress your digestifier, and we don't want to do that. Okay, so during the day, 4 cups of cleansing lymphatic tea. So what you want to do is in your membership area, in your spring dietary guide, there are some spiced waters there. So basically you want to drink spiced water. You want to do that anyway, whether you're on the cleanse or not. All through the spring season, spiced waters. And again, spiced waters are just taking spices and putting them in hot water and sipping them throughout the day. And it could be a simple one like ginger root. Ginger root is really great for cleansing and detoxifying the lymphatic system. And it's a good one for all of the constitutional types. Unless there's an issue of taste, or somebody doesn't like the way it tastes, for the most part, ginger root works really well for all the different constitutional types, which is really great. Okay, so Humza Greens. So this is basically a combination. If you guys want to, I have a kit that includes all this stuff in it. It is $115 if you want it and you want to just get like a package and just get it all together. You're more than welcome to do that. It really was not my initiative in doing this membership program to like have all these add-on things. But if you want the convenience of it, just reach out to me and I can certainly provide that for you. Otherwise, I will tell you that Humza Greens, what that is it's spirulina, it's chlorella. I like Z Naturals, znaturals.com. You can look that up yourself. You can source it yourself if you want to. And it's a concentration of greens that helps to cleanse and detoxify the body. So we use chlorella, kale, barley grass, and spirulina in ours. That concentration of greens helps to alkalinize your body. And again, it helps to flush the lymphatics of your body. And so you want to make sure that you're getting that. Another great product is E3 Live. They sell that at Whole Foods. So getting some kind of really high quality greens combination into your regular daily lifestyle, but especially while you're doing a detox and a cleanse at this time of the year is going to be really helpful. So dry skin brushing. Dry skin brushing, there's a video tutorial in your membership program in the 3-day cleanse area and also in the March issue. It's in both places because this is a good spring lifestyle practice, but also something you definitely want to do in every single cleanse, regardless of what time of the year it is. So dry skin brushing helps to manually move the lymphatic fluid through your body. Your lymph fluid, again, it moves very superficially to the skin, and we move it. Like we move it through our physical activity, our breathing. Our breath is a big mover of the lymphatic fluid. So exercise and breathing are like the 2 biggest things, but you can actually also push it. Like you could like literally push your lymphatic fluid, and it runs very, very superficially to the very surface of your skin. If you use too much pressure, you obstruct it. So you actually only want to use as much pressure as it takes to move a coin across the table to manually flush your lymphatic fluid. A dry skin brush, you can pick that up from like a natural grocery store, and you can just keep it in your shower. You don't have to use it dry. You can use it dry or wet. I just keep mine in my shower, and every time I take a shower, I dry skin brush. So for like 30 seconds to a minute into every area in your body, you always want the strokes to go towards your heart. When you do your arm, lift your hand above your head so that you're manually pushing the lymphatic fluid towards the central line of your body. Self-massage. So self-massage is huge in Ayurveda. We use medicinal oils. The skin is the largest organ on your body. So what we put on our skin, we actually consume it, which is amazing. Just like, like progesterone cream or a nicotine patch. People put nicotine patch on there because it goes transdermally into your body. So we use medicinal oils, essential oils, herbal oils supplementally. And we have like a billion different kinds of oils that you can use. You could, if you want to, just getting started, you could just use plain sesame seed oil. You could use your favorite, maybe you have a favorite body oil that you really like. Just make sure that it's, maybe do a double check of the label, just make sure it's all clean. General rule is if you see a bunch of words on there that you can't pronounce or recognize, that's generally not a good sign. And then you want to apply the oil. Again, following the same stroke lines as the dry skin brushing. Let the oil absorb into your body for about 20 minutes and then create heat to sweat. Also, breathing. So like I said, we move our lymphatic fluid through movement and also through breathing. You have your majority of your lymphatic glands run down the front of your body. And doing deep, just easy, deep breathing. Just making very deep, big, expansive breaths are gonna work to help to stimulate and move your lymphatic fluid in your body. Then there's faster breathing practices in yoga that help to really move the lymphatic fluid. So breath of fire is one, maybe you've done that before. Or Bhastrika Pranayama, which is bellows breath, which you learn in your video tutorials for this month and in this cleanse, which is like breath of fire, but a little bit slower. And it's just the inhale. So you may not be able to see me really well, but with each inhalation and contraction, my belly is expanding and then it's contracting. And so your lymphatic glands run through the front of your body. So it's like you're manually squeezing them, and you're creating a lymph flush dump. So breathing practice. Then there's additional practices, an Epsom salt flush. So this is the ever so joyful practice of drinking Epsom salt saline water. And it flushes your entire GI tract from top to bottom. It's a commitment. I recommend doing it first thing in the morning. Before on an empty stomach, definitely. If you eat and then do it, you'll probably throw up and get sick. If you have any issues with blood pressure, then, check with your healthcare practitioner. If you have any concerns whatsoever about it, check with your healthcare practitioner. In general, for most people, it's totally safe. And it's a yogic practice that's used to cleanse the GI tract. It's very powerful. I only suggest doing it one time a year because it does actually deplete the good bacteria in your GI tract. It washes, it rinses out. So especially after doing something like this, you want to be very mindful of how you eat after you do the flush. Eat a very easy to digest soup or stews that are warm and are cooked for like the next day or two until your digestion starts to really come back to life. So whenever you do a flush or a detox like that, you weaken your agni, so your digestive fire a little bit. And so the last thing that you want to do after you're coming off of a fast or you do like an Epsom salt flush is eat a bunch of food and a huge meal because your fire is almost like in a weakened state. It's said to be in a weakened state. So you want to gently rouse it back to life by eating a nutritive, good diet and slowly introduce more complex foods. All right, we're going to also do one day or more of sipping hot water. So this is an interesting practice that is kind of challenging. honestly. I find it challenging actually, but a lot of my clients say that they don't think it's that hard, but I actually think it is. So what it is at least for one day, you are almost constantly sipping hot water. So the challenge is to be drinking about a quarter cup of hot water every 15 minutes. So basically all day long, you know, you're walking around with a thermos and you're sipping hot water. What this does is it opens up the lymphatic vessels in your body and it creates a dump. So if you, after the first day, feel an intense desire to drink more, which you would think conceptually that you wouldn't, you'd be like, oh, you know, I'm rehydrating my body and I'm not going to be thirsty at all. But if you get really thirsty, that's actually a sign that you are really needing it. It's starting to work. It's starting to flush. So in which case you want to extend it and keep doing it until you actually lose the desire. Like you're not like, oh my gosh, I'm so thirsty. So I would say to, you know, at the very least, make a commitment to doing it for one day. And then if you have that desire, we're like, oh, you get so thirsty, to keep doing it until that desire goes away. And that can actually take a few days. It's really interesting to see it unfold. Then the next thing is something that's called the Niacin Flush protocol. And if you want to, you can get all the stuff, like I said, from me in a kit. It's $115, and it would have the niacin in there and everything that you would need. Also a body oil, the Epsom salt, a tea. I'm sorry, I didn't put this together formally because I actually didn't even think of mentioning it until about 10 minutes ago. So you can send me an email if you want, and I can send you more information on it. Okay, so the Niacin Flush protocol. So niacin is a B3 vitamin. And so this is totally safe. You can't like take too much niacin where it would hurt you or anything like that. There's no known side effects. Sometimes they prescribe niacin, the B3 vitamin, to reduce cholesterol. So they use it as a cholesterol medication actually. But the way that we would be using it is to assist with lymphatic cleansing. And this is a practice that's been around for a while in naturopathic medicine circles. Edgar Casey, if you know who he was really into the Niacin Flush protocol. My teacher, my Ayurvedic teacher, we did this all the time in her clinic with people. And there's actually a man, a scientist, goes by the name of Dr. Yu. And, you know, sometimes what people do is they take credit for these protocols that have been used in many different arenas. So he has something that's called Dr. Yu's Niacin Flush. But people have been doing it for quite a while. But the cool thing about Dr. Yu is that he's done all this amazing research on it. And specifically with survivors of the Vietnam War. And so niacin has been the only thing that has been clinically proven to actually pull Agent Orange out of the brain. So actually out of the brain tissue, where nothing has shown to be able to do that before. So that's really interesting. Actually, you know, allopathic medicine only just proved, I think it was like 7 years ago, that the brain has a detoxification system, has a lymphatic system that actually drains, you know, and cleanses and detoxifies. I guess before then, it wasn't believed that the brain had some kind of a detoxification method. So this is like one of these variances of Ayurvedic medicine and allopathic medicine, where this understanding of the lymphatic system, yeah, of course, the brain and every single area of the body naturally cleanses and detoxifies itself. So the Niacin Flush, what it does is when you're going through these practices, so like you're fasting, you're cleansing, you're releasing toxins, you're probably losing weight, your fat cells are shrinking. We already talked before about how we store emotions in our fat cells. All that stuff is being released into two primary places. One is into your bloodstream and the other place is in your digestive system. So with cleansing and with detoxification, we want to the best of our ability is to assist that stuff from getting out. And so the way that you do that is to encourage your body's natural detoxification pathways. Sweating is your body's natural detox, one of your body's natural detoxification pathways. So if you're on a cleanse, you want to sweat more. You want to help that stuff get out. Niacin dilates the lymphatic and blood vessels in your body, and it releases fluid into your bloodstream. And what it does is that creates like a flush. So you get kind of like the sunburn and like itchy feeling in your body when you're actually flushing. And then while you're flushing, you want to assist the process and sweat. So you could do that. In Dr. Yu, what he does is he does vigorous exercise. So he encourages people to do vigorous exercise. My Ayurvedic teacher, we did a combination of exercising and sitting inside of a steam or sitting inside of a sauna. And you want to do it while you're actually flushing. I have a separate video for this, by the way, that's just specifically on the Niacin Flush. That's in your membership area, and you can watch it. I'm just kind of giving like an overview right now. And then we want to assist the toxins to get out of your GI tract, out of your digestion. So one way that you can do that is by taking activated charcoal. And so what activated charcoal does, and a lot of clays, for thousands of years, people would eat clay, near a riverbank, or because what it does is it attracts a lot of toxicity in the GI tract, and it helps to pull it out. It helps you to eliminate it. So in this case, we would use activated charcoal. So as your toxins, your body is naturally detoxifying, you take the niacin, it encourages the release into your bloodstream and into your digestive tract. Then you are sweating, and you take some activated charcoal to help with assisting and pulling that stuff out of your body. The niacin, it's totally safe, like I said, but dosage is the question. So I've been doing this for 15 years, and on average, women need about 150 milligrams of niacin to have that flush happen. One time, and one time is all it takes, right? One time I had a client who took 150 milligrams, and it was extremely strong for her. She was okay, but it's alarming, especially if it's your first time, to have that sensation. Perhaps for you, some people are more sensitive to risk and the unknown than others, and I don't know what your degree of comfort with that is, and I trust you to do some inventory and decide for yourself. Myself personally, I take 500 milligrams. To create the flush, but I think I'm very comfortable with the whole process as of this point. So that particular woman that took the 50 milligrams, it was extremely strong. She had to lay down. It created a lot of digestive upset. She started to have diarrhea. She felt lightheaded. She was really hot, and she was really sweating. And so, after that happened with her, I shifted in my practice across the board to everybody, where if you were my client right now, this is educational. This is an educational platform. I don't, know specifically you. I can answer questions as much as I possibly can. But if you were my client and you've never done this before, I would suggest starting at 50 milligrams, 50 milligrams. And just see what it feels like if you've never done it before. And then, wait about half an hour, 45 minutes, and then add another 50 milligrams and see, and gradually work up to 150 milligrams. If you feel like, okay, I know I'm not sensitive and I'm not scared, or anything like that, and you want to start at 150 milligrams, by all means, like I said, 15 years, but one time and 50 milligrams was extremely strong. So everybody's different. Okay. So we're going to go so we went through an overview of everything that you would be doing during that time. I created like a 3-day, sorry, just one moment. Okay. I wonder why it keeps doing that on my side. I don't think it's doing it on yours. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So we've got the 3-day protocol here. So upon waking, hot cold shower, 30 minutes of exercise, breakfast smoothie. When we get to the recipe section, you can see more closely what that is. So this is kind of like a suggested daily routine. There are some things that are fixed about it and some things that you could be loose about. So the hot cold shower, yes, you should do that in the morning. The 30-minute exercise, ideally in the morning, but not absolutely mandatory. You could do that morning or evening. Breakfast smoothie, yes, definitely in the morning time. 4 cups of cleansing lymph tea. Again, that's some kind of a spiced water, which if you wanted to get the kit directly from us, we make a spiced water that's specific for the lymphatic system and cleansing. I say 2nd teaspoon of Humza Greens. Again, if you want to use some kind of like E3 Live or spirulina, chlorella-based product that you like. Otherwise, you can get ours. Ours is really good. And then before bed, dry skin brushing, self-massage, lymph massage, and breathing practice. So the one thing I will say about this, and then, I might actually end up moving this, it's just that sometimes people feel stimulated by that breathing practice and they feel awake. So you can, if you want to, move the breathing practice and do it in the morning, perhaps as part of your meditation practice. And also just the self-massage and the lymph oil. Sometimes people feel stimulated by it and it interrupts their ability to go to sleep. And the 3-day protocol, I put the first day of the Epsom salt on day 1. Then I just did 1 day of sipping hot water, and I just did 1 niacin flush protocol. So that is the 3-day. And then if you're just going to do 1 day, if you're going to do like a 1-day lymph cleanse, I would just choose one of these days, whatever you feel drawn to. If you want to do an Epsom salt flush, if you want to do 1 day of sipping hot water, if you want to experience the niacin flush protocol, I would just choose like one of these full days and just have that be your beautiful day. You could also do one of these days, once or twice a month, every month for the spring season. And if you wanted to, for just lifestyle cleansing and detoxification as part of your cleanse and detox practice for the spring season. And then down here, I've got a 10-day protocol. If you want to be super ambitious and do this for 10 days, pretty much everything is the same, except for down here, the first day. So you ideally are always starting the first day out with the Epsom salt flush because you are, you're getting everything out of your digestive tract, and it will just ease the whole cleansing and detoxification process. And then I have you do niacin flush protocol 3 times. 3 times during the first week. And actually, you can do the niacin flush protocol ongoing as part of a life practice. Dr. Yu recommends that everybody does the niacin flush protocol twice a week, just for life, because we're so exposed to so many toxins now, right? It just is, it's in everything from our food, unfortunately, plastic particles. I don't want us to get paranoid and depressed over it. But we have to be real and, do things that help our body physically. So the niacin flush for getting heavy metals out, for getting the stuff out that you're relieving from losing weight or doing a detox, all that stuff is gonna really help you. And I have this as the 3 days of sipping hot water. There's a longer explanation and, the do's and don'ts of each of the practices that we went over. And then a dietary guide. Okay, so what I've got here at the beginning is sort of like these foundational practices that are really important to do. for everybody to do, no matter what the time of the year is. Okay. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm like, I just need to, every once in a while, just check that everything's working correctly, but I believe it is. Okay. So these are the foundational practices that everybody should be doing all the time, no matter what the year is, but especially in spring. And dietary specifications. So the spring, like lymph detoxifying foods are, again, veggies, especially cruciferous, bitter, and astringent greens. If you are a Vata type person, so if you know what that means, or if you're Vata and you're concerned about that, you want to make sure that they're cooked. It doesn't mean you can't have them. It doesn't mean you can't have broccoli. It doesn't mean you can't have, mustard greens, but you want to make sure that it's cooked for sure. And Kapha wants to cook it too, to make it easier to digest. Add some salt, add some spice, squeeze some lemon or lime over it. Make sure that you're eating enough fat. So if that's ghee or coconut oil or sesame seed oil is also going to help. And then making sure that you're getting enough sweet taste. So that could be like a grain, that could be a grain in this case, or some kind of a root vegetable would also be helpful to enhancing the digestibility of the astringency, and the advice to eat more astringents at this time of the year for lymph and detoxification. So no alcohol, no artificial sweeteners, no baked goods, brown sugar, no candy, no cane sugar, no corn or corn syrup, no dairy products, no eggs, no grains, no highly salted foods, no legumes or beans, no meat, no nuts. And, on a very surface level, if you're familiar with Ayurveda, you might be like, what? No legumes or beans? Because Ayurvedic diet, can be really heavy with legumes. But, these foods are just looked at for their energetic value, and beans and legumes are excellent. I mean, they make up a huge portion of my diet on a yearly basis. But for doing a cleanse or a detox, removing sometimes legumes or beans can be cleansing. It can be detoxifying. I've seen so many positive results from following this specific diet for cleansing and detoxifying the body for a short period of time. And then gradually you can diversify your diet, add legumes and beans and grains and everything back in. This is just for cleansing. Other things you want to avoid are preservative and food additives, processed foods, refined grains, soda, soy, tobacco, trans fatty acids, wheat, and white flour. Okay, so what can we eat? You actually can eat a ton of things. I know that might not have seemed like it, but you can have all of your seed grains. So amaranth, chia seeds, coconut, hemp seeds, flax seeds, millet, pine nut, quinoa, and sunflower seeds. So for some of you, this may be new. Maybe you've never eaten amaranth or millet before, which welcome to the world of amaranth and millet, because that's so good. The amazing thing about these seed grains is they're light and they're dry. So they're detoxifying and cleansing for the lymphatic system, but they tend to be easy to digest, and they're protein rich. So they've got a lot of protein. And so they're really good for anybody that's, trying to eat a more plant-based diet and trying to eat less animal products in general. Ayurveda is not a vegetarian system, and I'm not on a platform where I advocate, for a vegetarian or a vegan diet for everybody across the board. But I do think a mostly plant foods diet is much more healthy for you. There's just so much research. And just, I think that's just really the truth, personally. That's what I believe. So eating mostly plant-based diet, spices, all spices are allowed. Sweetener, coconut sap. I'm going to take out agave. I apologize. It should be coconut sap or raw honey. Vegetables, all of your vegetables, especially your leafy greens and your root vegetables too. So don't forget about those. Sometimes, we can think this seems like really restrictive, but, all of your acorn squash, carrots, all of your root vegetables are fine. And then here's like a list of your best cleansing lymphatic foods. So avocado, beet, bell peppers, citrus fruits, cruciferous vegetables. So those are like your cauliflower and your Brussels sprouts, your kale, your broccoli are all cruciferous vegetables. flax seeds, leafy green vegetables, lemon, lime, pungent spices, and radishes. Okay, so we talked about dry skin brushing, self-massage, how to do the self-massage. We spoke about that. How to do the cleansing breath, the Epsom salt, how to do the Epsom salt. So, read through your guide more intensively. Here's the actual Niacin Flush protocol all written out. Step 1, taking the niacin. Step 2, dry skin brush. Step 3, self-massage. Well, I'm saying with nadi oil. If you got the kit, that's what would come with it. Otherwise, I do say use your favorite body oil or just untoasted sesame seed oil. I have a lymph cleansing yoga routine. Then you want a sauna or make yourself sweat for up to 40 minutes. I know that may seem like a long time, but once you get into it, it goes by pretty quickly. If you don't have access to a sauna or a steam, even just a hot bath, just doing a hot bath, I do that a lot. I have access to a sauna at my Ayurvedic center in Chicago, but I'm at home. I work at home a lot of times too. And I just use my bathtub. And when you get too hot, then just sit on the ledge of your bathtub. You just want it to be like that you're sweating, that's encouraging it's coming out. And then step 6 is to take the activated charcoal. We spoke about healing crisis and reactions that you should be on the lookout for. Again, those could be physical, they could be emotional, it could be reliving the past. That greens mix, actually, spirulina, wheatgrass, barley grass, that's going to help to ease and decrease different types of healing crisis reactions and symptoms. Common questions. What if you go out to eat? So I say over the next 10 days, you may have to go, just be as close as you can. If you ever waver and you eat a food that's not on the cleanse, you're just slowing down the cleanse process. And so that might be a good idea sometime. If you're feeling so sick and it's almost unbearable to you. When I first was doing these cleanses and detoxes, I remember once, oh my gosh, I was so sick. I was nearly just vomiting at the toilet. And I had to eat a sandwich. I remember that I had to eat a sandwich, and it was it just totally made the symptoms go away. If you're somebody that you can also push through it too. It's self-referral. You have to rely on yourself and to know how to process yourself. Otherwise, you could work with somebody more closely and they can guide you through. But this is in the format that we're doing this together. It's about self-pacing, self-reliance, and self-monitoring. And just know that it's not like you failed or something. It's not at all that you failed. It may just be that you have gone as far as you can go that specific time. And then the next time you're going to go a little bit more, you're going to go deeper. Can I juice fast on this cleanse? Yes, you can. So I would say, consume about an 80-20 ration of vegetable to fruit juices. The other alternative, there's a couple. Another one is to go on a mono fruit fast. Mono fruit fasting, especially if it's berries or grapes, for cleansing the lymphatic system, so powerful. I just went on a grape fast myself. I went on an 8-day grape fast a couple weeks ago. Amazing. It was really, really amazing. Probably one of the most profound fasts and cleanses that I've ever done. And I've done many different types of them. So a mono fruit fast is just eating one fruit for a set period of time. And grapes specifically, again, because of that astringent peel, tends to really pull stuff out of the lymphatics in the body. That's pretty amazing and pretty powerful. If you do grape fast, I would say don't juice the grapes, eat the grape whole. You could do grape juice if you want to. So run it through a juicer and just drink it. You can blend it with just purified water. You could have, that's it. You can have the grapes whole. You can have blended grapes. I actually surprisingly didn't ever feel sick of them at all. And I enjoyed it every time. And I kind of picked up a little bit of a grape habit since then. All right. So coming off of your cleanse. This is such a critical time. And this is the time that many of us kind of sabotage what it is that we did, you know, you don't want to like totally just like fly off the handle. I remember it was actually, I think either like the first or second time that I had ever done a fast. And this was a long time ago. This is like almost 20 years, 18 years ago or something. And I did the master cleanser fast, and it was like, I was like on the 7th or 8th day. And I was going up to Iowa City with some of my friends. I was living in Fairfield, Iowa at the time, going to the Maharishi University. And we took a car up to Iowa City, and I didn't bring anything. Like I didn't bring my fasting liquids, and I just started getting so hungry, of course. And the next thing that I knew, I was at a Mexican restaurant eating chimichangas and admittedly drinking a margarita with my friends. And it was a very bad idea. I got so sick. I was like laying in the back seat of the car, literally sweating. And that was kind of like my first lesson to just like how you just have to be so mindful of how you come off of it. You don't want to just like totally binge out and just go. You know, remember that your digestion, even though you've done all this purifying and your healing of your digestive system and everything else, your digestive fire is sort of, you know, in a lower state. And a big part of the reintroduction after a fast is what happens in that stoking the fires of your digestion again. So liquid, easy to digest, if that's like a vegetable soup, pureed soup that you can sip. And I mean, it takes discipline. It actually, I think this takes more discipline than it takes to actually fast. You know, it's usually easier for people to totally abstain from food for a period of time than it is for them to control their food for a long period of time. So you really want to be mindful. You really want to be intentional with your plan and your process, again, of slowly diversifying your food each day until you return back to your normal diet. So back here, I've got a whole bunch of recipes. A lot of these recipes are for like late spring when it's really warmer outside. A lot of these fruit recipes, especially, you know, we may not like totally be in the the full warm spring yet, vacillating back and forth between winter here. So yeah, so these are the recipes that you can use. And if you go back, so if you'll see what's happening here, is this is like your written guide. You know, everybody learns differently, I've discovered, in creating this stuff. Some people learn by reading and want like PDFs, and some people just like want to watch videos. So I don't know, you know, where you're at, but this is everything that's all written out for you. And then in your 3-day lymph cleanse over here, is basically all videos. So I will upload this masterclass when we're done. I'll upload that probably tomorrow morning. Here's an overview of the lymphatic system. Here's a video of the Niacin Flush protocol. You know, learning how to do dry skin brushing with self-massage and oil, the benefits of fasting, choosing the right fasting method for you. An overview of the Niacin Flush itself. The meditation and yoga practice to do with the Niacin Flush, how to do Bhastrika Pranayama. Yeah, and here's the Epsom salt, a video down here to learn how to do the Epsom salt if you'd like to. So however it is that you learn, or if it's both. I mean, every time I do a fast, I just like, you know, because I have to keep my mind in it, right? I mean, I'm usually somebody that's still working and maintaining my life responsibilities. I can fast really well. I can do, and I can stay pretty energetic. I usually find that I usually struggle actually for like around days 3 to 5. So the first few days I'm okay. Like, I'm like, okay, especially day 1, fine, no problem. And then around day 3, it just gets so hard for me. And I just feel so hungry. And then day 5, it's like in the clear. My hunger shuts off, and that's when things get really good. And that's, you know, known as the fasting high. That's when you start to get clearer insights into life. That is when you start to really let go of things emotionally and feel very zen and very at peace. And that's like where the real good stuff is. So, but like I said, depending on your current toxicity level, it may be really difficult to break through that phase your first time around, depending on how many cleanses you've done, depending on all sorts of things. I mean, some people who are avid regular detoxifiers and cleansers still have a challenging fast every once in a while. I know that I do, and I've been doing this regularly for a long time. So you never really know how it's going to totally turn out and be for you. And most of what you feel is more normal than it is abnormal. So take advantage of the support systems that are in place for you. You've got the Facebook group where you could post things there if you want to share recipes or what's going on, help to inspire other people, and, you know, create more of a community. And then also you have the live Q&A calls. I think we have one in a couple of days. If you have specific questions, you can also post your questions in the Facebook group. Just post the question and I'll answer it there. That way, you know, other people can gain benefit and see what your question is and gain a benefit from it there also. So that is it, pretty much. Does anyone have any questions? I didn't see any typed in. No. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you have any questions, please reach out. And I'm so grateful to share this information with you. Please let me know when you start. If you start the fast, if you start the cleanse, I really would love to hear about it. Thank you so much for joining me tonight and have a wonderful evening. Thanks.